first question goes to Ustads, but I think Dr. Omar can also play a role in this question. Sometimes people with depression is hardly to think straight and making good decision because all the negativity that one going through, maybe being suppressed in a relationship or feeling unworthy. We all know when we surrender ourselves to Allah, it can heal depression, but how to cure or help people that hurt and scar to be on the straight path again?
Yeah, that's a very good question. There's many layers to this. So I do think we need to be careful, because sometimes even I'll say depression, and I'm meaning more like a sadness, a negative thought pattern that consumes you. But I'm not necessarily referring to clinical depression. If you're talking about clinical depression, then that's a real disease, and that can be treated by a mental health professional. And it may not be appropriate to just tell someone, if you rely on Allah and you make dhikr and be close to Allah, increase your iman, then you will just remove the depression. For some people, they have true imbalance in maybe their brain, or something traumatic happened to them in their life and they haven't processed it. And so faith and mental health, depression, we have to separate it a little bit, because it doesn't mean if you have low iman, then that explains your depression. People with high iman have depression too. If that was the case, they would never have it, but we know that they have it. And the Prophet ﷺ says in a famous hadith, and part of the adhkar that we recite, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan, wa a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasal, wa a'udhu bika min al-jubni wal-bukhul, wa a'udhu bika min ghalabat ad-dayn wa qahr al-rijal. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from anxiety and depression, and from miserliness, and he lists many things that you could have problems with. Overpowering men, being overpowered by men, being overpowered by debt. He has a list of tribulations, but the first two he mentions are anxiety and depression in this dua. And he's the prophet of God. So it's not like a holy person, a person of high iman, it's not like they cannot have major ups and downs in their emotional states. Every human being can have that. It doesn't matter what your iman is. Allah may test you still with that. So leaving that part aside, if it's emotional scars, if you're having tribulation in your life because of past trauma, past negative things that have happened to you, that is something that, it's part of human nature. It's part of who we are. We're all kind of broken in that way. And so one main way you can help someone is just to be able to listen to them, listen to their story. You don't have to give much advice or guidance. Just be supportive and listen, and be non-judgmental. Don't judge someone if they have some negative feelings or they had an experience like this. Don't make them feel, scared to express it. They should feel safe and not judged, and it'll help them kind of process if you just listen and sit there and be with them, even if you're not saying that much. So I think it's important to distinguish between those two. If someone is really significantly depressed, you'll see it in the impairment in their life. Their life will not be able to function properly. So either they're not sleeping properly, their appetite is not right, they can't go to school, they can't go to work, something is impaired in their life. That's when you know it's getting to like a clinical level of depression. The other types of sadness and frustrations, we can work on those through sort of the methods that I was talking today.